And welcome to everyone who's popping by to catch up in another of my perspectives chats, and also thanks to anyone who left comments and messages on the previous video and previous videos. Always much appreciated to have your input. And I'm recording this on Wednesday the 17th of May, so hoping that I can get this set up and uploaded for tonight, for the Wednesday release. And the video is perhaps slightly related to the last one I talked about on asymmetrical brains, because it did make me think about the function of the human brain and the function of the human being. And so I was nudged to think about actually a short essay that I wrote last month. I've been writing a series of essays called The Transmutation Cycle. And this essay, I think, is probably related. So as you know, I don't really take notes for these talks. I just chat away. But on this occasion, I'll be reading some extracts from my short paper to go along with the talk. So yes, I haven't taken note, but I have underlined a few passages that I want to talk about. So that's the closest I've got to preparation. The rest, I just hope that I download inspiration. Big hope. So I wrote this short 4-page paper as a kind of thought experiment. And so I called it quite cheekily, Is There Life on Earth? Brackets, a thought experiment. And that title comes actually from a book by J.G. Bennett discussing the ideas of Gurdjieff, Is There Life on Earth? And I took that title because also I'll be referring to some ideas of Gurdjieff. Now, since we're talking about artificial intelligence, artificial brains, and the human brains, my thought experiment is looking at what is the function or purpose of human life, and can it be replaced by artificial life. So I'm taking the idea that Gurdjieff talks about, how in his cosmic, or in his cosmology, there's a vibrational hierarchy or array of creation, where vibrations go from the larger, from the absolute, to all the galaxies, to the galaxy, to all the stars, to a star, our sun, to the planets, and to Earth. And each time these vibrations get stepped down, much like electricity gets stepped down by transformers. So, and then these vibrations reach the Earth. So that's the context of this cosmology. So that's where I started to look at. So I'm going to read an extract from it. Water the mouth first. I say, the vibrations are having a difficult time stepping down from the planetary system level to the level of the Earth. It is similar to how electricity is usually transmitted across the planet. Often, heavy voltages of electricity need to be stepped down or passed through a transformer, a step-down transformer, in order for it to be received at the other end. If the electricity leaving the power station did not pass through a step-down transformer before reaching our homes, every fuse and device in our homes would be blown. The same applies to the Earth. It needs some form of a step-down transformer. Welcome to the entry of organic life. Okay, so i.e. organic life, and specifically humans, are this membrane to receive the vibrations and then to step them down and transmit them across the Earth. As I say, the human being, consciously or unconsciously, and the point here is that it's mostly unconscious, functions as a transmitter of vibrations that are necessary for the evolution of the planet Earth. Humanity acts as a form of membrane across the surface of the planet and is receptive to the myriad of vibrations and emanations and all other types of influence that are arriving to the planet from the solar environment. And no wonder that as humans are quite erratic and our behavior is very unpredictable. If we're receiving all these impulses and mostly unconsciously, we're getting knocked to and fro like dust particles in the wind. So of course we don't perhaps realize that we are receiving these emanations, these vibrations, and are retransmitting them, stepping down for the benefit of the earth. And so biological life, in that sense, has a function in this cosmology. And therefore biological life is attuned to the planet Earth. And I think that's a quite important concept. Organic life is attuned to our environment, Earth, to be able to be in resonance for receiving these vibrations. That's a hypothetical cosmology. And that made me think about the Schumann resonance. I didn't put it in the paper, but I mean, there's been lots of talk about the Schumann resonance, which is the Hertz frequency of 7.83. And it's this frequency that operates within the Earth's extra low frequency electromagnetic field, or the spectrum around the Earth. And it's often called the heartbeat of the Earth. And it's been noted in many cases to attune with the resonance of the human being. And there's been a lot talked about Schumann resonance, and I'm sure many of us are familiar with it. You can go and look it up. And also there's been talk about how our brain waves are in tune with the Schumann resonance, which makes sense if we are going to be, receiving from the Earth's electromagnetic spectrum into our electromagnetic field from our brain. You need some kind of correlation for them to be transferred. So I just did a quick, before chatting now, I did a quick online search, and I did come across, there's lots of information, but I came across an academic article, because academic articles have validity. But this one was actually published in the National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information, and it's a medical publication online. And just to correlate this, it's called Human Intelligence, the Brain and Electromagnetic System Synchronized by the Schumann Resonance Signal. And just as I've taken the line from the abstract, the final line on the abstract says, the Schumann resonance signal provides a brain frequency range matching electromagnetic signal, providing the synchronization needed for intelligence. So that's interesting, the synchronization needed for intelligence. So all this chatter about artificial intelligence, the question is, it may be smart to some degree, it may be clever, it may be efficient, it may be a very intellectual, rational mechanism, but can it replace the function that in this cosmology the human being and the human intelligence functions, i.e. human intelligence is a field that is receptive and then is able to transmit the vibrations. So I did question this in my thought experiment. What if the machines could take the place of this? And so I continue. Life upon planet Earth is an experiment, let us say, and the human species is being monitored to see how it performs in its allotted role as transformers and transmitters of vibrations. What if, now that a sufficiently prolonged period of time has elapsed, it has come to the attention of the advanced intelligence monitoring the progress upon this planet that humans are, well, falling down on the job? What if humans are no longer functioning well in this role, and so a new transmitter model is required? Time is up for humanity. What form could possibly replace humanity to act as this buffer zone between the solar neighborhood and the Earth? Welcome to the rise of the machines. It's hypothetical, of course. Don't worry about the rise of the machines. Chill. So I wonder whether I call this part the machinic transformer, whether the machine ecosystem and the architecture on this planet could also be a kind of relay station to receive and transmit these vibrations. I continue. Any sufficiently advanced species, sounds a bit sci-fi, doesn't it? Any sufficiently advanced species visiting this planet could be forgiven for thinking that a terraforming project is underway for adapting the planet Earth for a machinic intelligence or AI form of species. The highly dense electromagnetic environment, the masts and antennae, the cameras and surveillance systems, the Wi-Fi relay stations, the profusion of low Earth orbit satellites, etc., are establishing a network, a digital architecture that could act like an AI semi-sentient global brain capable of receiving the cosmic vibrations, step transforming and retransmitting them, effectively putting humanity out of a job or purpose. Wouldn't that be a haunting thought? Yes, it would, wouldn't it? So in order to replace the human species, the machinic AI architecture would have to be able to resonate with these incoming vibrations to perform the same function. And personally, I don't think that's possible. I don't feel it's supposed to be possible, which means that AI intelligence or AI intellect and the digital architecture is here for a different function. It's here to, yes, manage certain operations across the planet, manage certain functions, certain mechanical operations and data collection, etc. But it's not able to replace what is the biological organic function of life on this planet. But I still continue with the thought experiment. And actually, just let's have a hypothesis that the machinic intellect does take over the substitute role. Then is it all bad for humanity in terms of where does it leave us in terms of our function? So I say here, by having a replacement or surrogate species in this role of receiving and stepping down the vibrations, then humanity would be freed from this role necessity and can shift into a new state of evolvement. The human species would be given a free run to work upon itself, to evolve and create a soul, as they say, in order to participate in the cosmic evolutionary scheme and to be of use at a higher level in the creative hierarchy. That is saying that because humans are mostly unconsciously in this role of receiving these emanations and transmitting them, and we're so caught up in the world, we actually don't take time to work on developing our latent inner capacities, to advance our psychic potentials and extend our mind field, let's say. And maybe if we were released from some of these chores of life, some of these mechanical operations, we could then have more space and time and focus to develop our inner psychic perceptual development. That's one kind of hypothesis I'm running. But of course, I also say that, as I say, those persons incapable of turning inward will probably choose to merge with the machinic intelligence in order to perpetuate some semblance of their DNA as a recombinant element with code, i.e. those people who choose not to develop themselves, their innate organic human capacities, their perceptual capacities, may just choose to merge with the machines as a way to survive. But still, I don't think that's the case personally, because I do feel that we're mythologizing the machinic intelligence to a point where we think it's going to take over everything, but it can't. It can't substitute the human being. No way. But it's so. I continue with this thought experiment and say, well, what if at this time there is a necessity to develop matters, to develop the human function a bit more, but we're being a bit lazy. Maybe humanity has been giving another nudge to get going with itself. So I refer to this last part of the essay as the pandemic shockwave. And sometimes, you see, because nothing happens in a linear way in organic life, you get growth and then you get retardation, or you get periods where you slow down. And sometimes you need to put something in, a shock, or add something to keep the progress growing. Such as, you plant a vegetable in the garden, as I did this week. I'm planting my tomatoes outside and my courgettes, but that's another subject. You plant something and then you realize that it started growing quite quickly, and then it slows down. Maybe you need to add some fertilizer. You need something to keep the momentum going, because if we lived in a frictionless environment, you'd just start something and it would just the momentum would keep going because it has no friction. But we don't. We live in a friction environment. So if we have resistance, we need sometimes a push to get past resistance. Otherwise, we would just come to a stop. So I kind of hypothesize this on what I call the pandemic shockwave. As human civilization on this planet at this current time is straggling through a period of deep materialism, cultural vulgarity, and widespread psychological malaise, it seems an ideal time to receive an unexpected jolt to kickstart a new phase of developmental activity. It's just a thought here, as this is only a thought experiment. I did write that. Wouldn't it be convenient that as the recent pandemic began to usher in a recalibrated multipolar world order, it might also have stimulated a new phase of human evolvement within a conscious segment of the human species? This may not be the case, yet then again it also could be the case. Every non-possibility also includes its inherent contrary possibility. The question, as always, is whether anything will result from these potentials. And then I finally come to the bottom. In other words, if the pandemic shock was applied to be just that, a jolt for human inner development, then will the call be heeded? Perhaps it does not need to be heeded by the majority. It all may correspond to who had ears to hear and eyes to see. So that was my little thought experiment, which I'd finished writing last month, which I think fits quite well with the last couple of subjects that I've been talking about, especially the last one, the asymmetrical brains. Although surprising enough, only this morning it came to my mind to kind of bring it up and relate it, hence this last minute video for today. So all that aside, I think basically what the question I'm getting at, and what I think the theme involved here, is that human life and human beings and organic life in general, but let's specify in human life, does have a function, does have a purpose. Now we have a micro purpose, we have functions and we have purpose for our lives, and we can seek that purpose between ourselves individually. And I've written about that in my essays, The Will to Purpose. And we can be conscious about that, what purpose we wish to give meaning to our lives. Then in a macro level, actually we have a function which we are largely unconscious of. And this function fits into a cosmology which is required for life on this planet, which affects, of course, life in the solar system because all planets are related. And we're not aware of this mostly. And perhaps that's okay, because being unconscious, we can still fulfill the function. But this function cannot be replaced by the silicon artificial digital intellect ecosystem architecture, however we wish to call it. So actually we're not going to be replaced. The artificial architecture is going to be employed to do more mechanical jobs, more managerial, more data organizing, to facilitate certain life and structures on this planet, but it's not going to replace us. It's just the limitation of human thinking that doesn't understand that humanity has a macro purpose and function on this planet that worries that we're going to be replaced, because that's very materialistic thinking. We are the dominant species according to its materialistic thinking, and therefore the next species that comes along will want to be dominant and overtake us. This is a projection of a very myopic human thinking that's been projected onto this AI. But in a metaphysical sense, there's no correlation. You can't replace one with the other when you're completely in different spheres, different realities. So yes, I just wanted to bring that up as a thought experiment. Leave it at that, really. More can be said, but I think enough has been said for now. Maybe I'll come back to this theme later. I'll leave it with you to ponder on, and let it be rest assured that for me, is there life on Earth? Is definitely in the affirmative, and it's a big club, is life, and the good news is we're in it. I hope that will keep you sane and keep you grounded. Cheers. Until next time.